Thank you to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video. Hello and welcome back to another video. My name's B and today I am super excited about this one. I am going to be making, self-drafting a cardigan. Now B, you might say, it's May, it's coming up to summer, why are you making cardigans? And to that I say, I do what I want. I like making cardigans. That's the end of it. So yeah, I appreciate it's not very seasonally appropriate, but cardigans are one of my favourite things to make and one of the things I wear most of what I make. Despite all of the purling involved, the cardigan I have in mind is a sort of illusion cardigan. Ooh, spooky. I thought I would draw you a little diagram of what I'm thinking right now. You have to give me a bit of grace with the drawing because I am not an artist, so don't judge the garment based on what I draw, please. So I've just got the iPad here. Oopsie. So the plan is to do a drop shoulder cardigan just because that's what I like wearing the most. It's going to be a drop shoulder like this. There's going to be ribbing involved. Haven't decided what kind yet. And then it's going to be a drop shoulder. So I'm going to do some German short row shaping just because that's how I like my cardigans to be shaped. That's my preference, like this jumper. And then that's going to be the collar, and then we'll do arms like this with a few decreases in there, ribbing on the end of that, bam, bam, bam. And then, so this is where the fun starts. So for the button band, I am going to be trying to make the cardigan look like a flower. I'm going to do a double knit button band is what I'm thinking. The button band down the middle is going to be considered the stem of the flower. And then what I would like to do is some pockets. So these are going to be pockets on the cardigan, and this, my favourite part, the collar, is going to be like that. The head of the flower, bam. I know it looks a bit funky right now, but I am super excited about trying to make this a reality. I'm thinking double knit button band down the middle. I've never done pockets before, so that's going to be something new for me. And I'm also going to try and do the collar double knit so that I can get the decreases and increases for the scalloped edge. That's what I'm thinking right now. It's subject to change, so do not hold me on that. I'm just super excited to just make something funky again. I also wanted to say as well, this cardigan is heavily inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. So I saw this picture of a modified denim jacket. That is basically what made me want to do this cardigan. Basically trying to recreate it with a couple of modifications. So I want to do the 2 leaves instead of just the 1, and I want to make those leaves pockets. So yeah, just wanted to say that's the source of inspiration. I have already got the yarn for this. This is yarn that I've wanted to order for the longest time. I follow them on Instagram and they just have the most colourful, beautiful yarn. So the yarn I got is from Hip Knit Shop. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? The colours are just exactly what I wanted. I really want just like bright, bold, in-your-face colours. You cannot miss them. And that is exactly what this shop does. So it's a little bit on the expensive side, but for something like this that I'm so excited to make and that's super funky, I am more than happy to pay the price I did. But it is just really soft. Oh, it feels lovely. And I wanted to go for a bit of a chunkier yarn just so that it works up a tad quicker. So it is, I think 6mm needles you need for this, and then the gauge stitch is 17 stitches. So pretty nice. This is 50 grams and has 80 meters. This is the colour Falling For You Blue. This is Jelly Bean Green, and this is Flamingo Fever. What amazing names. I'm so happy with those. So the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is swatch. I'm going to swatch and I'm going to block. Then I can sit down and do some calculations. Get a bit of maths going. Use the old brain box a little bit. But I'm really excited. Can you tell I'm excited? Have I said I'm excited? I need to stop talking now. Stop talking and get knitting. But before we get into the video, I just wanted to thank today's sponsor, which is Hooks and Needles. Hooks and Needles are a crafting subscription service, so for both knitting and crochet. They deliver patterns along with the yarn and the accessories required to make the patterns. So I actually have a crochet box, which is not like me, but I did want to try something a bit different. I haven't crocheted in a long old time, so I thought it'd be really fun to have a look at the patterns they have on offer for the crochet box for this month and see what I want to make. So Hooks and Needles comes with a little pamphlet, which basically gives you 3 patterns which you can choose to make. These patterns range from beginner, intermediate, and experienced. So it's suitable for all skill levels. And it's really good for when you're at a bit of a loose end and you don't know what you want to make. This will help you cut down decisions. It'll give you 3 options and you can choose one of those, and you'll have the perfect amount of yarn for that. As well as the patterns and the yarn, they send you nice accessories. So I've got some stickers in this one, as well as a tape measure, which is very, very handy, and some care labels to go with your handmade goods. Out of this box, I am definitely going to be making the bandana. I am a big fan of a bandana in the summer, and I feel like crochet is just perfect for the summer, isn't it? If you'd like any more information about Hooks and Needles, check out the link in my description, and you can also use the code B20 for 20% off your first subscription box. Thank you again to Hooks and Needles for sponsoring this video, and let's carry on with the cardigan. Okay, it is still the same day. I just finished up this vest today, so I put it on. Swatch has been blocked and it is dry. It's a nice sunny day today. So I have measured this up and I have made some calculations. So I know how many I'm going to cast on. I'm going to do the classic German short row shaping for the shoulders because I like the way that looks. And I know my stitch counts for everything. I've worked out everything, including the left and right shoulders. So I know how many rows I'm going to do, how many increases I'm going to do, everything. So I have got a loose pattern in mind and written down, which is going to help. I can pretty much cast on now, and I am amazed with how quickly this worked up. I know I didn't do the full 10 centimetre for the rows, but for this pattern, I'm planning on doing centimetre measurements rather than rows, because I feel like that just reads better and you can just measure the centimetres way easier than having to count like 100 rows. A bit more user friendly to do it that way, but I'm going to keep count of everything just in case. I'm going to cast on my stitches now and get started with the German short rows. Right, things are looking good. I have finished the German short rows, would you believe? The yarn being a bit on the chunky side and using 6mm needles just makes it so quick. It only took like an hour to get all this done. The neckline I've made very narrow. Now, my logic is, and I'm hoping that it's not flawed, is I need to make I would normally make the neckline wider because I would normally add ribbing after the fact, after I've done the collar. For this, it's going to have a collar that lays outwards. So it's not going to go inwards. So I need the size of the collar now to be the size of the finished collar at the end. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm talking gibberish, but. So it's this big so far, which looks very small. But in my experience, once the sleeves are added, it stretches. I'm now at the point where I just carry on in stockinette until a certain amount of centimetres. I'm going to carry on knitting this and eat some of the lemon blueberry crumble loaf I made. Ooh, fancy, fancy. Oh, hello and good morning to you. Progress, let me update you. It's like a scroll, bam. This much of the back yoke done. I was going to try and finish off the back yoke completely last night because this is only like 2 hours of work. Not too bad. It got to a point where you can see it's curling quite a lot. So I was like, oh, is my gauge slightly too tight? So I thought, let me sleep on it. I'm going to have a little feel of it in the morning. And what I decided to do was make another swatch using 7mm needles, because this is using 6, which is exactly what I did. So I made this swatch and I blocked it. And I'm glad I did, because any doubts in my mind have been resolved now. 6mm swatch I did yesterday. This is the 7mm. And as you can see, I don't know how well you can see, it's a lot gappier. And yes, it is a bit more loose, but with blocking, the 6mm is a lot nicer and looser as well. And this just looks a lot neater. Go. So yeah, I'm happy I did that. The doubts in my mind have now gone and I am soldiering on. I am almost at the end of my first skein. That is good. I have got 8 in total. Fingers crossed it's going to be enough. I'm going to carry on until I hit a certain amount of centimetres from the middle of the back yoke. And that's it really. We are about to leave. We're going to go to a dog show at our local garden centre, which is very, very fun. So I'm going to bring this to knit with me. I'm looking forward to just sitting down, knitting a lot. And I think if I try quite hard, I could have the project joined. I could do the back yoke, front right, front left, and join. I don't know if that's a bit too optimistic, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there in the universe. Okay, see you at the dog show.
Hey mama, could you get up soon? I get so cold in the other room. Here I am, honey, half awake. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. Morning star, clear and true. Your honesty could pierce my heart right through. Plans are paper, I'm afraid. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. Hey Pepper, give us a shake in the newborn grass. You're sure to find a snake. Don't let the serpent change your pace. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. There's a dream weaver that won't let me alone, and it turns my heart into a heavy stone. Look at the maker in the face. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay.
Hello, we are at Blenheim Palace again. James eating a sandwich. We're just sat on the wall and we've come out for a little wander about, haven't we, James? Because we came here last week for the jousting event, but we thought, didn't even see 10% of the bloody place. We thought we'd come back for a little wander around because it's a beautiful day again. I've got the knitting with me, so we're going to have a little wander around, have a sit down, have a knit, explore the palace. That's the plan for today, really. Big chill out. How's your wrap, James?
It's actually not that bad for like 2 days old.
But I'm going to get knitting and have some lunch now. Bye!
Where did the time go? How do we move so far away? Holding on, how much can we both take when love is an echo? I can't hear
we are back from Blenheim, and we even stopped in Woodstock, the little town next to Blenheim, for a coffee and a little bit of a knit, and it was very, very nice. It was a beautiful day to be outside. It was a proper Sunday activity. Since then, just been at home, knitting away. All of the panels have been joined, front and back. I can officially do a try on. It's really starting to shape up as well. Absolutely loving the colour, but let me try it on for you. Did you like it? The colour is, and it's going to look so good with the pink and the green. I think the colours match so well. Here is the back. Can you see? Can you see? And although the shoulders are rolling up a little bit, so you can't really see its true size, but from how the body looks, I think it's going to have a really good amount of positive ease. I like something with a little bit of positive ease. It's just a bit more comfortable to wear. I like a slouchy fit normally. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's mine. The collar, perfect size if I do say so myself. I'm just super excited to have it done. Another funky piece to add to the wardrobe. But for now, I'm going to carry on with the body until this skein is finished. This is my 4th skein. I have 8 blue skeins in total, or I had 8 blue skeins in total. It's my 4th one, so once I've finished with that, I'm going to do the arms. So once the arms are finished, I'm just going to continue the body with the yarn that I have left. So I'm going to carry on with this skein, and I will let you know when I have cast on the arms, or if I do anything different. Do you like the colour, James?
Yeah, I do. It's lovely. It matches you.
It matches. Thanks. I've reached the point where I've finished 4th skein off, decent amount of the body, not too bad, and I am now going to start on arms. Firstly, I'm going to pick up the stitches, see how many I end up with. I'll be picking up at a rate of every 3 of 4 stitches because of my gauge. That's going to inform my decrease rate for the sleeve. I need to figure out how long I want the sleeve, how many decreases I want to make, and what I want the final circumference, the final amount of stitches to be. Easy peasy. Let's get picking up stitches. Hello! I have just got home from work and I even did a little run with Taya. Thank you, Taya, for making me run after work. I feel very, very good now. Sorry for not updating properly yesterday, but had a lovely wholesome time. Had a little bit of a crafty girls' night in, and we all did a bit of either knitting or nails, and it was absolutely lovely. I got lots and lots done. So much, in fact, that I finished off the sleeve yesterday. Just one, and I'm now back to working the body. I'm going to try it on for you to show you the sleeve, and then I'm going to tell you the situation. I'll give you the rundown. Here we are. So one sleeve done. What do we think of the length? I quite like my sleeves to be about this long, come up to just below my knuckles on my hand. I quite like a long sleeve. And because this is 100% wool, I have a feeling it's going to stretch a bit with blocking. So I am pretty happy. Well, even if it doesn't stretch, I'm actually pretty happy with the length as well. And very happy with the width. I think it fits with the size of the cardigan body. Situation is, I have got 2 balls of yarn left, and this sleeve took almost exactly 2 balls of yarn. This is how much I had left. So I have ordered 2 more balls, and for the moment I am working on the body. I'm going to finish off the body with the 2 balls I have left, because then I can start on the button band and the collar if the other 2 balls don't arrive soon. I'm going to be one sleeved for a while, but that's all right, not a problem. So mission at the moment is finish off the body, and then I can do button band, buttons, collar, pockets. That's something that I've been thinking about. Tonight, I'm just cracking on, knitting stockinette back and forth, not a problem. I've just been so distracted, this has been on my mind so much because I'm really excited about it. It's just like a very interesting construction and challenge for me. So the collar, I need to make it so it flares out, so I'll have to do increases, and I'm thinking about scalloped edges and stuff for the petals. There's just a lot of different constructions running through my mind. So I'm very excited to get started on that bit and actually get stuck in with it, make mistakes, start again. Just very excited by this project, been thinking about it all day at work, even though I bring it to work with me to do at lunchtime. We are in Norwich, visiting family.
Hello.
But we've been having a little mooch around. It's been absolutely lovely. And we're a bit tired, so we thought we'd come to a pub garden for a little chill out. James is here on his Kindle. And I have officially started on the button band. Very, very fun. Nice to see a good pop of colour on there finally. Got my elderflower cordial. Plan is finish this button band, do the other button band with the button holes, and then I'm going to do the other sleeve just to have a little bit of a break from thinking about things and maths, and then collar time. Collar is going to be difficult to figure out. But I'm up for the challenge, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But I have thoroughly enjoyed knitting up this button band. I've had to do a few tries because I didn't know what width to do and what gauge to use, basically, what needle to get the look I want. But I have figured it out, and I'm making notes of everything as I go to write up the pattern. So I basically just need to sit down and start doing that, basically. So I am going to want to make a pattern for this. I think it's so funky. I've never seen anything like it before. So I'll be going over to Dad's later, seeing lots of dogs, and hopefully doing some knitting.
I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our 2 outlines. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine.
Hello, hello. I am back home, as you can see, back from Norwich after a lovely, lovely but very busy weekend. But as you can see, we have 2 button plackets. I've just finished up all of the buttonholes on this placket. I've got 6 on here. Now for an exciting part, which will take some brain power. So I've not been putting it off. I've waited until I have a good chunk of time to pour some brain power into it. Let's put it that way. The next part is pockets. So I have never done pockets before, but I think it should be relatively easy to just seam them on using the mattress seam. That's the plan so far. The thing that I have to do now, which is brain power, is basically design 2 separate bits of fabric, which are going to the pockets, which I will then stitch on. And it's not just a bog standard square that I'm going to do. I want to do a leafy shape. I'm going to have to get up Stitch Fiddle, which is what I use to do all of my charts for designing stuff, and have a little play with the shape and the form and think about the easiest way to construct it without having to break yarn, because that would be really annoying to have to weave in loads of ends. So I want to be mindful about the way that I do this. I've been writing up the pattern as I go so that I don't forget lots of steps, because there are a few bits and bobs to this pattern that I could easily come back to in a week or two's time and be like, I don't know what I was thinking for that part, don't know where these numbers have come from. So yeah, I've been doing it as I go, which has been very useful, especially for things like the plackets where you're basically doing all the maths for the buttonholes. But I have got a formula for that, so don't you worry about it. I think I just need to sit down with the iPad, figure out what size I want to make the pockets, and then that will inform how wide, how many stitches, how tall, how many rows, and then I'm going to do increases and decreases to make the shape. Now you know my master plan. Why don't I just stop procrastinating, stop talking, and get on with it? Sounds good to me. Okay, another quick update. I have done 1 leaf. Ooh. Pinned it on for the moment because I'm just deciding if I like the shape or not. I had to be quite strategic with where I put the increases and decreases on the knit purl side, just to make sure that it was doable to do those decreases and increases where they were. So there's a little bit of staggering where I've done like backwards loop cast on or cast off up here. And what I'm thinking to rectify that is to do an I-cord edge around the entirety of the leaf, and then I will seam the underneath. I think it might be quite nice to have that detail anyway. Well, I'm just going to see what it looks like. Let me show you the full thing. The illusion will be best when it's buttoned up like this. Does that look like a leaf? I reckon so. And then with 2 on there and some really bright pink around the collar, that's gonna look really cool. I think I'm just gonna try I-cording around the entire thing. I mean, the leaf only took like 20 minutes, so next order of business, a bit of I-cording. So I've finished the I-cord edging. Do we think it's a bit better? I did it all the way around, but not along this edge, just because I thought it'd be a bit neater to join it there. I don't know if it looks a bit too much like applique now. It's a bit more cartoonish, but it does function more obviously as a pocket. So there's that. I mean, I think it does look like a leaf. I think I might just start the other one, and I am going to see how I feel tomorrow, I think, and potentially seam them on tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes. After the pockets are done, then I am doing The other sleeve, I thought I would leave the arm after doing something difficult, so like the pockets that requires a bit more brain power, just so that I could have a little break going in the round, nice and easy before tackling the collar, which is the main event, the main show. So yeah, I think I'm going to call this a success. I think I like how it looks. And I'm assuming that I feel like this is a good proportion for the flower. If it's going to be coming out to what here, we'll have to see. Time for me to get a start on the other pocket though.
In the morning, when you walk away, my heart drops to the floor. They said it would get easier, but I don't know who for. Days move fast and now I swear I can feel them slip away.
It's been a bit of a long time and I am sorry about that. Work has been very, very busy. I've got a lot of proposals on at the moment that I'm doing, so it's just been very hectic and I needed to sit down and get stuff done. As you can see though, 2 sleeves. We have 2 sleeves. Sleeve Island, hardly know her. Look at this, it's finally starting to look like a cardigan. As I have spoken about in one of the previous clips, I have started on the pockets or the leaves of the flower, and I showed you one iteration, which I did an I-cord edge around, this one here, and I thought I didn't want to rush into sewing anything on, so I thought I would just sleep on it, and I'm very glad I did, because I woke up in the morning and I decided that I hated it. It just looks like a rectangle. I mean, there is a bit of shaping on there, but it just looked too... I like the cartoony look, but it just looked like a square. And I figured there would be a way for me to make it look more leaf-like and actually be simpler, rather than have to have a chart for it and follow loads of increases and decreases. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment. So, iteration 1 looked like that. I mean, it's all right, but I think we can do better. So I thought, okay, let me try and be strategic about this. What if I do sort of raglan-like increases and then the stitch in the middle, the raglan stitch, where it normally would be for a jumper or a cardigan, that can be the stem of the leaf down the middle. So I did that, and I also did a little I-cord edging at the same time, which I thought would be handy, so then you don't have to go and do I-cord edging after the fact. You can all do it in one big hit. Bam! Because that's what I like, lazy knitting. And this is how it looked, which it looks a lot more leaf-like. However, as you can see, the main problem is it's shaped like a bra cup. I basically made a cup with the increases and decreases that I did, which is a shame because it looks really cool with the stitches around the end. And also did it really small because I ran out of yarn. That's how that iteration looked. So yeah, fine, but too small and too 3D. I don't want it sticking out like this. So then I workshopped and I was like, okay, so to make it lay flat, we're gonna have to do the decreases on the outside of the leaf rather than up the middle, and that'll make it lay flat. I'll still do the I-cord edge because I think that adds a nice finish to the leaf. Then I was like, but then how am I gonna get the stem down the middle? Well, I sat down, had a little brainstorm. I figured out using slip stitches down the middle would basically fake the look of a stem. Which brings me on to the final iteration. Let me show you. Oh my gosh. Would you look at that? Is that not a leaf? And I made it pretty decent sized because I basically want to stitch all around to the end, and then I want to stitch probably up here so that it will stay upright like that and it won't flap open too much. But look at that. Nice sizable pocket. Bash. Oh, not another one. They look like leaves. So I am much, much happier with the way that these look. So just as a reminder, first versus final iteration. But yeah, I'm very happy that I kept workshopping. I am now a bit worried now, holding it up against this, that this is a bit too big. I think I might pin it on now actually to just double check. What do we reckon? And it does make it an actual usable pocket, like this is big enough to put your phone and stuff in. Yeah, I think that's all right. They just look so much more like leaves as well, so I am very, very happy with those. Question is now, do I want to stitch these down or should I start on the collar? I think I am going to sew these down because seaming is my least favourite part of knitting. I think it'll give me a time to ponder the collar a bit more because I have been figuring a lot out. It's going to have to be some sort of circular yoke situation, but what I'm trying to decide in my head is whether to do it stockinette or whether to do it ribbed. That is the question. So I will think a bit more and I will get to seaming. Right, we are a couple hours later. I basically tried some different things. Oh god, my voice is starting to go. But that's all right, I don't need a voice to knit. I basically used mattress stitch all the way round. The first iteration, I started on the tip of the leaf. And then when I got all the way down, this bit was wonky, the one that lines up to the button band. So I scrapped that and I started from here instead and went up, and that worked a lot better. And I think they're pretty bloomin' even. Look, little pockets. How good is that? Please excuse all the ends hanging off. I figured I would leave them until everything is finished so I can decide if I want to take them off and move them in a different place. But at the moment, I'm happy with where they are now. It's been a very unproblematic first pocket experience. The one gripe I have with this yarn is that it's not plied, it's roving, which I didn't know when I was buying it. I probably should have looked a bit closer. But the issue I have is when I'm binding off or using a needle or I pull too tight, the yarn pulls apart. Oh, it's happened so many times now, and I've had to reattach yarn and weave in more ends than I've needed to. Like this bit here, for example, you can see it just thinned out, and I tried to pull through for a mattress stitch and it literally just like broke in half. So that's really annoying, and I'm gonna have to like tie those off and weave them in. But at the moment, just very happy. I think they're gonna block out really nicely and lay a bit more flat as well once I stretch out the cardigan a bit. Really liking the way it is so far. But yeah, now is time to sit down and think about the collar. So that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the night. Have a little read of different techniques. I have been looking at some of my books and I've got this one, Compendium of Knitting Techniques, and it does have a scalloped finish, but it's like a lace one, and I don't want a lacy collar. So yeah, I'm gonna read through here, see if it's got any more tips and tricks for me, but I'm mainly just gonna have a little peruse on the internet and decide whether I want to do 1x1 ribbing collar and figure out how to do that in a circular yoke or just stockinette. That is me for tonight. I will see you in the morning. Hello and good morning to you. I have been up since 4 AM today with a cough, but that has given me time to brainstorm about this collar. So I've knit up a sample of what I thought might have worked. Basically the issue that I'm coming across is there's lots of resources online about how to start a garment or a collar with a scalloped edge, but I would like to pick up around the collar and then finish on the scalloped edge so that you wouldn't have to either seam or try and match up the stitches to the ones on the collar, because I feel like that adds a lot of work. Like I could do that and botch it a little bit, but I'm trying to make this into a pattern, so I'm trying to do it the most sensible way that I can, which will be reproducible for different sizes, if you see what I mean. So what I've been looking into is picking up stitches around the existing collar and then working to the end. That way you can also try on the collar as you go and see how long you would want it to be, so that people could make it shorter or longer if they wanted to. That's why I like doing top-down stuff. It's very customizable. And one of the techniques that I potentially saw was doing a cast off and then knitting below, so basically scrunches it up. So I knit a sample of that on a tiny little example, but it just isn't scalloped enough for my liking, and it's rolling. No, that won't do. So I do like the raglan-y increases, and I've done some slip stitches as well to try and define it so that you'll be able to see the petals, which I think that'd make it look more like a flower. But I think what I have settled on now is doing raglan increases, but then it's going to have to be German short rows to do properly wide petals with a nice curved and defined edge, rather than it just being really undefined, and then it might as well just be a round collar. What's the point? I want you to look at it and be like, bam, that's a flower. German short rows, although it is probably a little bit more difficult technique-wise than what I was attempting before here, the payoff at the end will be much, much better. But I'm basically going to do a sample to decide how many petals I want and how big I want them to be. Although it's taken me a very long time because I have been busy with work and stuff, it has been very, very nice to use my brain a little bit and try and figure out these things with techniques that I haven't particularly done before, or is not very well resourced on the internet, at least. Yeah, there's not many patterns that I could find that have these techniques all in one place. So it does mean that this would be like an intermediate level knitter cardigan, but it combines a lot of really good techniques, and I feel like the finished product is going to be very unique. So I am very excited. It's been challenging but fun. The only thing that I wish that I'd done is had like a mindless stockinette thing on the go, just for when I'm like out and about. But yeah, that is the plan for today, is knit another sample, food festival, potentially pick up stitches around the collar if I figure out a way that I want to do it. Hello. So, sorry, I've lost my voice a little bit. It's finally just started to get a bit better again, but I'm still quite croaky and I might have to stop and cough sometimes. So I do apologise for that. I'm basically just popping in to say that I have picked up stitches for the collar. I have basically just decided on doing raglan increases around here, as you can see, boop, boop, by my markers. I have planned on having 6 petals, and the one thing that I've done that is a bit peculiar is I picked up my stitches on the wrong side of the work, so the right side of the work, the cardigan, and this is the wrong side of the collar, and I'm doing that in the aims of it folding over, so then it's right side on right side, if you see what I mean. I'm really looking forward to having it done though. It seems like it's working out so far, but I've just told myself it's a bit of trial and error. If it goes wrong, I'll just undo it. It's not the end of the world, is it? So yeah, I'm just going to keep going, get it longer and longer and longer until I'm like, that's a good length, and then I will start to think about the German short rows. I already have a decent idea of what I think I'm going to do, so I just want to do German short row shaping, and then at the same time, for each petal, try and bind off with an I-cord edge so it doesn't roll, because that has been something that I have been concerned about. I must just plough on and see how it goes. First attempt at the collar has turned out very chaotic. So if you were to wear it like this, I do think you get a good overall picture that it is a flower, but I do just feel like the collar is a bit too big to the point where it's a bit clownish. So I think what I want is I'll frog it back, take about maybe like that much length off, half it here, so then it comes out to about there. I feel like it'd be a lot more wearable. It wouldn't be as much of a dress up piece, I don't know. I think the colours are pretty spot on. And I think with blocking, things will start laying flat and look a lot better. But yes, I think reducing the size of the flower itself will make it a lot more wearable. But I'm just gonna rip back now and I'm just gonna get on with the collar. Oh my gosh. Look. And let me stand up and show you the full thing. Would you look at this? Oh my god, look at it. It's so cute. And look. Ooh. Ooh. So as you can see, I finished off the collar. I think the size of this one is much more appropriate to everyday use. I think the other one was a bit too clowny. It was quite big. And also, a smaller collar means less work. So let's look at it on the bright side. I basically finished off the collar the last time I spoke to you when I undid it, and I blocked that same day. I was in a bit of a rush, so I didn't manage to update you guys on it because we were headed to France for a camping trip, so I had to do lots of packing and all of that. But I'm back now, updating on a blocked cardigan. As you can see, I've still got some ends hanging out a little bit, and that was just because I wanted to make sure everything was where I wanted it to be in case I had to undo everything. But now that I've blocked it, I think it looks really good. I think the scallops have turned out amazing. I think you can really tell that it's meant to be a flower. I'm so pleased with the pockets. I'm so glad I chose to redo them from my first iteration of pockets. It's time to finish up the cardigan for good. I'm going to weave in all of these ends and then I'm going to sew on the buttons. Oh, can't believe it. But let's get on with it. Enough yapping, let's get into some action.
Gets me almost every time in the midst of summer, watching it in full bloom always makes me wonder when we were.
No way! It is like exactly how I wanted it to turn out. I'm so glad I redid the collar. It's so much more wearable with this collar, I feel, even though it is still a little bit out there. But I think it goes really well with these gingham trousers that I made in my Pinterest video. I look like I'm going on a picnic or something, I think. Oh, thank you if you voted on the poll on Instagram about what to wear with this lovely cardigan. I couldn't be happier with it. I think it's so functional. With these pockets, you can put whatever you want in there. They're nice and spacious and they work really well. I love the I-cord edge around the flower. It means it doesn't roll up. I'm just so happy and I feel like it looks like a flower and that is all that I wanted. That is all I wanted with this. But let me do a little spin for you. Ooh. Do you like my scrunchie that I made with the leftovers as well? It is the funkiest thing that I've made in a while. And that's the aim of what I'm trying to do with all of my knitwear designs, basically. I'm just trying to put out the funkiest things that I possibly can. And I know this is a bit out there and not everyone might want to wear it, but I just think it's so fun to look at. So I don't mind. But I have actually finished writing the pattern up for this one. So although it's seasonally inappropriate, not for the Southern Hemisphere though, if you wanted to knit this up for yourself, I am going to have the tester call below in the description, there's going to be a form that you can click on and you can see all the information, all of the deadlines, although I can list that off to you now. So the tester call will end on the 23rd of June, and the deadline for the testnet itself is going to be the 17th of August. So that is 8 weeks to knit up a cardie, because I appreciate there's seaming involved and there's scalloping and everything, but because it's a relatively chunky knit, I'm hoping it won't be too tedious and won't take too long. That is the aim. I want to give everyone enough time though. But I think that is everything. Thank you so much for bearing with me and follow along with this video if you've made it to the end. It is an absolute beast. I'm so sorry it's so long. Please let me know if you enjoy these longer form videos or if you would rather me split them up into parts and you could follow along on the journey that way. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!